welcome to the All and About Everything interview series, episode 6. Today, we will be interviewing the dynamic duo, yes, the owners, as well as general manager for Steakhouse on the Veranda. Let's go! Alright, so I'm here at the Steakhouse on the Veranda with chef and owner Christian SWEENY and the managing director Carl Campbell. Now, it is indeed a pleasure to be here, having had dinner here twice. Trust me, the food is amazing, the atmosphere is fantastic, and the service is next to none. Now, we're going to talk about the transition from one owner to the next, and we're going to talk about how these two became the dynamic duo that they are today. So tell me, Mr. SWEENY and Mr. Campbell, yeah?
It was a humble start.
Yeah.
Coming in, this man running the place, you general manager, I would just hit ground, start having simple conversation about the conversations about business. I would just became friends.
So let's go back a bit, yeah, before we get to how you guys met. Christian, you're from Montego Bay, and where are you from? Hermitage. So the simplest Jamaican term, who garrison you to get to you to understand that the whole garrison thing is just a mentality, yeah. So how did both of your upbringings impact who you both are today? Start with you, Mr. SWEENY.
On the lean times, you learn to be efficient. You learn to do a lot with a little. Because things weren't always perfect. So you had to make do with what you had, and based on the fact that.
What do you mean by lean times?
Lean times, lean.
No fat. For some people, lean times might be, them still eat, some nice food and things, So, what is your lean time?
I wouldn't say that I was ever deprived of food in my childhood. But, the things that you had wanted to do, your visions that you had as a child, we couldn't always do those things, So, coming up in that household, we learned to, make do with what we had and have fun with the things that we did have.
Where in Montego Bay are you from?
Originally, Sugar Mill Road.
Sugar Mill Road?
Yeah.
Where is that?
That's Coral Garden.
Coral Garden.
Yeah.
Man from Hermitage.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in such a space?
Well, to be honest, growing up was all about ambitious and a goal. I grew up with a mother that was ultra ambitious and she was always taking things to another level. Dad was a soldier. And I also didn't have drastic situations. But again, I was exposed and experienced the surroundings. But I was always led by a vision that this would have happened and greater things.
One of the things that is good to note is good parenting.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
Growing up in a space where violence exists, in a space where the type of socialization can impact a child, good parenting is necessary. How would you speak about, your father being a soldier and, your mom, being within us? How did that
happen? It's an experience whereby I couldn't pay for. So my mother is a sweet lady, full of ambition and drive, and my father is ultra strict man that they understand what the real world is. Army man. That man beat you once every 10 years. So every other time he looks at you, know that you should never break the rule. So the discipline was there, and your mother, she would have told us about when she dropped out of university or goals that failed and so forth. So I lived through my mother's dreams and tried to achieve them. And that's one of the reasons why I kept focusing on discipline from a soldier man and to a mother who failed because she really didn't have that motivation and money. So when I had her behind me, not like she had money either, but that gave me the reason to push and source and make associations that
Never
I
give up.
could never give up. But coming from that era though, I can say it's balanced for the most part, but one of the things that would have played the era is the violence over the years. So I can tell you, as a child, I could tell you the name of the different guns that are fired within the era because the sounds, they are distinctive sounds and so forth. But it feels you when you start to explore and meet people and socialize because you have a feeling of both sides of the fence.
Become diverse.
And that's one of the things that I would never change in my life.
What about you, Mr. Sweeney?
Well, I had the benefit of a double parent household, which is not a common thing now,
No.
you know. So that played a large part in developing me. You know.
Double parent household meaning
Oh, mother and father.
Mother,
You know, I
yeah,
grew up
yeah.
with my mother and my father in being married, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that played a large role in the person that I am today, you know. So drawing strengths from your father, drawing strengths from your mother, and, you know, the nurturing of both of them. You know what I mean? The reality from your father and the, you know, the nurturing of dreams from your mother, you know what I mean? So that was pivotal for me. And not a lot of people, I wouldn't say not a lot of people, but a lot of people don't have the benefit of that. Right?
That is very important.
Of course, most definitely.
Very,
Most
very
definitely.
important.
The thing is,
As you were saying.
I lose my train of thought. This man just smashed me up. Anyways, we'll continue. So as I said,
Yeah.
dual parent household is most definitely the standard for great development of people. You know, great development of your dreams and great development of belief in yourself and your vision. You know, and the time.
Yeah, let me ask both of you. Growing up, who did you guys look up to?
Oh wow.
You know, who was that one person who, whenever you hear them speak and when you see them, you just feel inspired?
I would say my father more than anybody else.
Father.
My father, because coming from very little and running up the ranks and achieving a lot over time. He's my idea of what perseverance is, you know, and I really respected that. You know?
You know, anyway, when you're a father, what's his name?
Wiley,
Wiley?
yeah.
Mr. Wiley, anyway, you're there. Enough
Big up yourself.
respect. You did well. And for you,
My own is a little bit wider than one
That's okay.
individual. But there are three persons who really propelled me. And one would be my mother because of her drive and trust me, she believed in me. Every business I start, she maintained. And my dad, and the number one reason I respect my dad until this date is because he's not my blood dad. So I had a dad who didn't show up. And that gentleman knew me from I was probably 1 year old until this day. So to not give up on the next man's child, you have to rate that brother no matter what. And most important, and I didn't know this until she died, or until I start achieving stuff, but it's my grandmother. So she molded me culturally, spiritually, financially, and with a dream. And I didn't understand how I was made up until her funeral. I was like, I'm so much like this lady. If you ask me the type of food I like, is what she used to. If you ask me the activities that I like, or he likes to see I'm some historian or something. Most of those things my grandmother taught me growing up from a very young age.
your grandmother. Tell us about your grandmother.
Well, my grandmother was a lady who came from the ranks, and I would say one of the ladies who pushed the family to where it is now. So my grandmother was an ordinary young lady from the country, Westmoreland. And I think she started out as a domestic helper. But when she was working for those individuals, she worked for like the most influential persons of the day.
She learned a lot.
So she learned a lot and she was very exposed. So she could have taught me that as a child. She could have told me that of the time when she worked for a Governor General. And she worked from being a domestic helper until she was a supervisor at somewhere at UWI, some department at UWI,
You know,
until she resigned.
interesting. But what I garnered from this is the importance of a double parent household.
Yes.
You know, where a man can father a child and a woman, you know, can mother a child. The discipline, the nurturing aspect. that
Both
is
very
necessary.
different roles, my brother.
Yeah.
You know, both very different
That is
roles.
necessary
Yeah.
for the development of a male or a female. So, for both of you, you came up in these different spaces. One from Kingston, one from Montego Bay, at two different parts of the island. Yeah. But such similar upbringing. I think that helped with the synergy that you guys have.
Among a lot of other things as well.
Tell me about some of the other things.
Well, this man is a very pragmatic, very systematic, very controlled, measured, calculating, planning person. Whereas I am the opposite of that. I am more, I'm gonna put this.
You are
Impulsive.
Creative.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a good balance. It has helped to manage the team to the best that it can be.
Let's bring it to Steakhouse on the Veranda. How did you find yourself at the forefront of owning this establishment?
Well, the former owner, a very nice lady by the name of Mrs. Burrows, she owned this establishment and ran it for 3 years. Yeah?
Mrs. Burrows, thank you for creating this space.
Yeah,
Big her up, please.
yeah, man, and she did a really good job of creating a comfortable space.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
But Mrs. Burrows is she's up in age. This isn't for her, I don't think. So she decided, it's time to give it up, and I made her an offer, and she accepted it.
Okay.
So we move forward, and we're here right now.
All right. So then you acquired the space, you acquired the name, and now you find yourself wanting a general manager. You said it earlier. You know what your strengths and your weaknesses are. So how did you go by?
Well, Mr. Campbell he has been here. She was here at the time. During the thing, and we just got on. Good. We really turned the place around.
Yeah.
Because we saw things that needed to be done, and we come up with that plan. And every single step that was taken on the plan, it exploded almost. Doing better than it's ever done before. Highest levels of customer satisfaction that we've ever had before. So why not? If something is working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we're just looking to, with Mr. Campbell's partnership in the internet, we're looking to really push the envelope and take the restaurant to the next level that we know it can get to.
And where in your mind is that concerned?
International, no, not even recognition, but expansion into international territories, becoming a multinational company.
Good.
Because we see the potential.
Good.
And we have some plans, and we have some places that we're looking at right now that it could potentially happen.
At this time, I noticed that there's some renovations taking place.
Yeah.
Naturally, where there are renovations, there are expectations for bigger things. What are some of the plans that you have?
First of all, we have to big up Mr. Bartlett.
Definitely.
Because
as the Minister of Tourism,
Definitely.
we have to big up.
Edmund,
We have to big up Mr.
Man
Bartlett.
of
most
vision.
honorable Edmund Bartlett.
Because trust me, he has really spearheaded this initiative, and it's a place that he grew up loving, and he wants to bring it on to the future generation. And this renovation, when it's finished, trust me, it was already a world-class place. So let's say it's going to be an ultra world-class place once this renovation is finished.
You guys are at the forefront of it.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Definitely.
Mr. Sweeney,
Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Campbell, you started working here. Where were you before?
Boy, I was all over the place, managing in different corporate entities, Altamont Court, Moon Palace, Epicon, all over. I was once overseas in Minnesota, all over.
So you have a lot of experience in the tourist industry.
Yes, sir.
So why you doing this wrong? What is it about the steakhouse on the veranda? Why you're still here?
The defining moment was more than companies, more than salaries, is where you can structure a family and start it. And if you can hear from us about we're family people. And the defining moment was the first day on the job when I sat down with Christian and we wrote a 4-page document. and it has governed. Some people call it a marketing document or a marketing matrix, and that has governed us until this day. And we have recreated it this week. And just the humbleness, like I came on as general manager, Christian was executive manager, and when that person can purchase an organization and ask to stay on and give you more responsibilities, you have to respect that. And the team in general is what else you could ask for.
You know, one of the things I noticed having walked in this establishment is the synergy between owner, general manager, and team.
Definitely.
There is a level of understanding. There's a level of I can speak directly to my boss. I can explain what I'm thinking and feeling.
Definitely.
And I think that is a formula that builds loyalty, good communication, and that transition to the customers that comes inside there.
So we're no longer in the industrial era, my brother. You know, where people work just to make a salary and go home and that's it. I think that
You said the industry of what?
the industrial era,
Okay,
where
industrial
you know, persons let's say 70s where they would just work, make money and go home. They don't care about the treatment. Yeah? I think that now we're in an era where the family structure within an organization works a lot better. And you get more loyal, as you said, more loyal, more employees willing to go the extra mile. You know, because one, they're taken care of, and two, they feel a part of something. You know what I'm saying? And their actions directly affect the expansion and the future of the business. So when you make somebody a part of a family like that, I think that's 10 times more effective than having an employee. You know what I mean? And people go the extra mile for that.
Lovely.
I think that's important. You know?
Lovely.
Yeah.
All right. So, what are some of the plans for the future?
Well, immediately we are opening once the courtyard is completed, we've been allocated a section to open a bar on the outside, which should be a big, you know. We're in conversation with partners right now to see who will come on board.
I expect a grand opening.
Oh yeah, man! It's going to, and the thing is as well, when the construction is finished, we're also going to relaunch the steakhouse in a big way.
Fantastic.
So
We'd like to come and cover it, yeah?
yeah, man.
So,
And,
yeah, drop it.
all done. You know, so you're when you pop out the credit card, you know, anything on the menu you want, you just pop out the credit card and you're good to go.
Yes,
You know?
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that is going to be very fantastic.
Come on.
It is going to showcase the melting of the what Steakhouse on the Veranda originally started out with, along with the addition of the Jamaican flair and cuisine that you guys have brought to it, which trust and believe is fantastic. So what called into your minds that that is a necessity to add to Steakhouse on the Veranda?
Well, first of all, I don't think you can have a completely European menu, or a completely, Mexican menu, or you need to have some diversity and also, infuse the flavors of Jamaica in an interesting way. So if you look at our pastas, for instance, our sauces are unique to us. There's no other restaurant that does what we do, and it's a very, very strong thing for me to not just jump on a bandwagon and say we're going to this. It don't make no sense to me. When you, and I always say this to Mr. Campbell, it's either you have an identity or you're everybody else. With the music you have, with the drinks you do, with the food that you have, the service that you offer. If you do not have an identity, you are everybody else. So why would I want to be everybody else when we can be unique and blend in the Jamaican flavors and the Jamaican hospitality in a unique way on a beautiful setting,
And while incorporating all of what Chef has just said, we want to create that family guest experience.
Exactly.
Something to be a part of,
Exactly.
a vehicle to take you places while they're in Devon House. We'll get a piece of Mexico, a piece of France, a piece of Jamaica, while having wonderful ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen, everybody feeling good.
As the Ritz-Carlton would say,
Let me ask this. A lot of young people out there, yes, Mr. Sweeney, a lot of young people out there, they have aspirations to be a chef like you. And, growing up, they might hear that you need to be a doctor, lawyer, you know, something outside, one of the regular stuff, you know, which nothing is wrong with that, you know. But what would you say to the young man or the young girl who want to be a chef?
Vitally, and this is something that I said to myself and my staff all the time. If you don't have the 10,000 hours that you put in, that are going to be rough 10,000 hours, and you don't have the willpower to do that, then this is not for you. You know, because you have, if you put in 10,000 hours at anything, you're considered an expert in that field. Yeah? 100%. Whether you went to school or not, it don't matter. If you put 10,000 hours into something, and you put 10,000 hard hours, and you apply what you've learned over those 10,000 hours, there's very little chance that you're going to fail. Yeah? Now, this is where entrepreneurship comes in for me, and I think that's a big thing. Yeah? I want people to aspire to own their own businesses. Yeah? I want people to aspire to open restaurants, or people to aspire to open catering companies, and use those 10,000 hours, all the knowledge that you've accumulated, whether it's in the hotel industry or the cruise ships or wherever you decide to go, or you have the luxury of going overseas and experiencing, you know, a first class or a first world country. Come back and apply those things. You know, come back and really.
Yeah, back to Jamaica.
Exactly. Because when I went away, it was pivotal for me to come back. Because I didn't see a future over there for myself. I think Jamaica is my home. I must find a way to improve the space from a culinary standpoint. You know, so that was my driving force, and I have done my 20,000 hours. You know, so I consider myself an expert in this field. Yeah.
What would you say to the young man or the young girl in Hermitage who they might hear the gunshot every day, they can't tell the difference between that the gun there and that the gun there? Yeah?
Yes.
And, you know, who they might see as a role model, you know, is not the type of fatherly figure that you have.
And the reality is that as they walk, they are fortunate enough to see so many role models that they can choose from. It's a community whereby you have entrepreneurs, you have national athletes, you have music producers, you have businessmen, and they decide to stay the same way I do. So with the exception of the small negative, there's a big positive. What I want to say is believe in a dream, go for it, and emulate the persons who is doing something productive. Because they are from a place of greatness. If I should start by listing the amount of great, I couldn't stop. And the truth is, they are from a place also where infrastructure is so good, and the university is next door. So it's really upon each person to believe in that dream and to execute it. Because I believe that everybody coming from everywhere can make it if they believe in it.
Well, on that note, from all and about everything, at the Steakhouse on the Veranda, where you can get fantastic cuisine that replicates not just Jamaican cuisine, but cuisine from all over the world. See you next time. Big up on yourself. Let's go.
So no sex tie conversation.